In May of 2024, a man named Herb Bebebek uploaded this eerie footage to his TikTok account. The recording comes from a home security camera during the dead of night. It shows something that is both strange and deeply disturbing. Initially, the video shows a simple view of the property. The yard is still and silent under the heavy darkness. Everything seems normal until you notice a strange movement. A pale figure emerges from the shadows and begins to walk slowly across the lawn. The shape looks like a woman wearing long, flowing clothes. She does not look toward the house or acknowledge the camera at all. Some people think this is a real person who looks blurry because of the low light. Security cameras often make shadows and clothing blend together into a hazy shape. Even with a logical explanation, the way she moves is undeniably spectral. She walks with a slow, rhythmic pace that feels like a dream. I feel terrible for the homeowner because seeing a stranger in your yard at 3 a.m. is my worst nightmare. This is why I always double check my door locks before I go to bed. It makes me wonder who this woman was and what she was doing out there. Was she just a neighbor who got lost in the dark, or was she searching for something she lost a long time ago? Maybe she is a spirit who is just determined to get her nightly steps in. The way she vanishes into the darkness at the edge of the frame is chilling. I cannot imagine waking up and seeing this on my phone the next morning. What do you think you would do if you caught this on your own camera? This footage is genuinely unsettling. I am being completely serious when I say this is hard to watch. This specific incident was captured in Honduras. If you look closely at the background, you can see Congresswoman Gladys Aurora Lopez.
No nos dejan entrar.
Interviene, dice la Constitución en el 205, a poder llevar a cabo la declaratoria si el
Gladys, viene Gladys Aurora, Teresita, Cali, también Teresita, ¿qué es lo que está pasando ahí?
¿A dónde? ¿Aquí en el Congreso?
Sí, ¿por qué no entran?
No nos dejan entrar.
In this video, a group of people are surrounded by reporters and are being asked several questions. Suddenly, an unknown individual in the crowd hurls an object. It is difficult to determine exactly what the item was, however, it appears to be a type of explosive device. The object detonated immediately. The woman in the frame was struck by the blast. This caused an immense amount of chaos and panic for everyone nearby. I feel terrible that she had to experience such a terrifying and random act of violence. It is frightening how a normal interview can turn into a tragedy in a heartbeat. Despite the intensity of the explosion, reports confirm she survived and did not suffer any major permanent injuries. Initially, it was unclear if this was a targeted attack or random madness. Authorities had to move with a quick response to secure the area. The investigation into who threw the device remains ongoing. This is why I always feel nervous in large uncontrolled crowds. You simply never know what someone is hiding in their hands. In June 2025, a worker named MYUU Brandon Sanchez shared a TikTok video that might make you avoid funeral homes forever. MYUU describes how he and his colleagues have been hearing bizarre noises echoing through the halls. These sounds happen even when the building is entirely empty. As he records the room, he insists that everything is normal. He claims there are only shadows and silence around him, but at the 30-second mark, a terrifying event proves him wrong.
Miren como tenemos rato escuchando ruidos aquí en esta zona. Si vemos, pues está solo y creemos que pues hay algo aquí porque pues se empiezan a mover así como que medio raro. Miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve. No hay nada. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Está mi compañero, pero pues si vemos estamos solos.
In this video by Matsuo, we see a heavy coffin lid suddenly lift and open on its own. There's no one inside the casket and no one standing near the display. The visual is chilling, but the fear in Matsuo's voice makes it feel much worse. Initially, some viewers thought it might be a spirit trying to communicate from the other side. Others suggested that air pressure or faulty metal hinges caused the movement. However, the quick motion of the wood makes those theories hard to believe. I feel terrible for anyone who has to work alone in a place filled with so much sadness and mystery. This is why I always prefer to be in well-lit, crowded areas at night. Shortly after the first event, Matsuo posted a second update from the funeral home. His voice sounds far more frantic this time. He points out a strange object in the room that appears to be burned. He confirms again that he is the only living person inside the structure. The situation begins to spiral out of control as Matsuo starts to shout.
Sí. ¿Cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo. Estoy solo en la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la... No mames, no mames, no mames.
Furniture and various items begin toppling over in a swift sequence. It looks as if an invisible force is shoving everything to the floor. Matsuo reacts with raw emotion, swearing and yelling while he tries to keep his camera steady. Skeptics think this could be a staged prank using hidden wires or drafts, but the intensity of his panic is very difficult to fake. If any part of this footage is real, it raises a very dark question. What kind of energy is powerful enough to toss heavy furniture in a place meant for rest? I cannot imagine standing in that room while objects are being thrown by something I cannot see. It feels like a warning to get out of the building immediately. Do you believe a spirit could have enough physical strength to move heavy wooden tables? This footage comes from Villa del Agua, located in a department in southwestern Colombia. In this video, you can see a group of people traveling down a very isolated road. The path looks sketchy and dangerous even before the trouble starts. What happens next is truly terrifying to witness.
Dale, Cristian, dale. Ve, Señor bendito. No. Dale, papi, dale recto para atrás. Ay, dale adelante. Dale para la policía. Dale, córrele. Dale todo. Ve. Estoy grabando la matrícula.
A red car suddenly blocks the path in what appears to be a kidnapping or robbery attempt. Initially, the travelers do not know how to react to the vehicle stopping in front of them. The situation becomes extremely nerve-wracking as the occupants of the red car move toward them. Local officials have not been able to determine exactly what the criminals wanted. The biggest problem is that this road has almost no law enforcement monitoring it. I feel terrible for anyone who has to travel such a lawless area alone. The people in that red car escaped and were never caught by the police. This is why I never like driving on deserted back roads where there is no help nearby. This footage is truly alarming. In this video, we see an observer recording a standard ambulance being towed down the street, but a massive disaster was about to unfold. Initially, everything seems fine, but we have to remember that these vehicles carry pressurized oxygen cylinders. I had actually overlooked that fact until you guys pointed it out. Suddenly, the entire back of the vehicle is struck by a violent explosion. The blast is incredibly quick and sends debris everywhere. Most people find comfort in the routine of a workday, but for one mother working at a local hotel, the shadows were watching back. While she went about her tasks, a stranger sat nearby, his eyes fixed on her for hours. She had no idea that he wasn't just a guest, he was a predator waiting for his moment. When her shift finally ended, she began her usual trek toward the train station to catch a ride home. But tonight, the silence of the walk was an illusion. The stranger followed her exact path, trailing her up the stairs and onto the deserted platform. On that platform, he did the unthinkable. In a frenzied, senseless outburst, he ambushed her, striking her 23 times with a screwdriver. To ensure she couldn't call for help, he snatched her phone and hurled it into the river before vanishing into the night. What makes this case truly bone-chilling isn't just the violence, it's the total lack of remorse. While the victim was fighting for every breath, her attacker was caught on camera buying beer and dancing through the hotel hallways. In a final haunting display of depravity, he was filmed partying with friends outside, mere feet away from where ambulance lights were flashing in the dark, desperately trying to save the life he nearly extinguished. A woman named Sandre shared a video on TikTok that will make you rethink everything you know about the afterlife. Ever since her mother passed away, Sandre has witnessed bizarre activity inside her house. The events are unsettling enough to make her feel like she is never truly alone. In this video by Sandre, she films the inside of a bedroom where something unexpected happens with quick speed.
In my house, my mom passed away. Like, why?
You can see a dresser drawer begin to slide open entirely on its own and move slowly and steadily as if an invisible hand is pulling it. Sandre walks closer to the furniture to show there is nothing nearby to explain the movement. There are no hidden strings, no pets, and no fans blowing air in the room. The silence of the scene is exactly what makes the motion feel so eerie. I feel terrible for her because losing a parent is hard enough without your home feeling haunted. This is why I always feel a bit jumpy when I hear floorboards creak in an empty house.
I looked underneath the drawer, I looked behind it, there's nothing making it pop out. And it seems like it's when I bring up my mom that something happens. Mom? Your cat's fucking weird.
Only a second or two after, Sandre calls out for her mother. The drawer opens again. Initially, it looks like a coincidence, but the timing feels like a direct reply to her voice. The precision of the movement makes you wonder if it was a purposeful act. Skeptics will say that she used fishing wire to pull the wood, even though nothing is visible in the clip. But if the footage is real, it shows a touching possibility. It could be a gentle form of communication from a mother reaching out from beyond the grave. The last moment of the video feels deeply personal and strangely comforting. It is rare to see a video that is both frightening and beautiful at the same time. I hope she finds peace regardless of what caused that drawer to move. Do you think this was a paranormal encounter or just a very convincing trick for them? Here's another short clip that is downright terrifying. There was nothing earthquake-like about this. Strong winds in Turkey were the cause of this. On November 20th, a recording emerged from a church in St. Louis that captured a moment of pure dread. What was intended to be a joyous engagement ceremony was suddenly shattered by the arrival of a total stranger who claimed he had a dark confession to share. The footage was so unsettling that it sparked an immediate police investigation and was scrubbed from most internet platforms almost as fast as it had gone viral.
Sorry. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm a murderer. I'm a murderer.
Cousin.
I need help.
Oh my God, Bradley.
I've killed plenty of people. I do not want to kill anyone else.
Bradley, come on.
I killed a lot of people. Oh my gosh. Please forgive me.
Come on, cuz. Bradley, look at me. We just came.
Move to the side. Please forgive me. Please, God, please forgive me for my sins. I am sorry for hurting other people. I do not want to hurt another human being as long as I live. I have asked you for forgiveness from this. Please help me.
Following the incident, the couple featured in the video released a statement to address the overwhelming public outcry. The primary question on everyone's mind was whether the encounter had been a staged prank, but the couple confirmed the terrifying reality. The event was completely authentic.
This is the story time to when our proposal got interrupted by a man confessing to murder.
I'm going to start off by saying that it is not AI, it's 100% real.
Since I posted the video, his neighbor commented and said that he hasn't been home in 3 weeks, which is when our proposal happened, and that her boyfriend saw him with like bloodied knuckles and said that he got in a fight with his.
While the footage has been handed over to local authorities and the individual has reportedly been identified, the police have yet to release an official statement, adding to the mystery. The woman in the video noted that the man had not been seen for 3 weeks prior to his appearance at the church. It remains uncertain if the stranger's behavior was the result of a sudden mental breakdown or a drug-induced episode, but the incident has left the community with far more questions than answers. A YouTuber named Beg shared this eerie footage back in May of 2008. In the first segment, you can see the creator walking through his home to perform a blessing in his kitchen. The atmosphere is calm until the situation takes a disturbing turn. Without any warning, multiple objects are thrown to the floor by an unseen force. At that exact moment, the camera begins crackling with loud bursts of static. This noise makes the chaos unfolding around him feel even more intense. The creator has trembling hands and his breathing is very fast. It's clear that he is genuinely terrified by what is happening in his home. I feel terrible that he had to experience such a violent disruption in a place that should be safe. This is why I always feel uneasy when I hear unexplained banging in another room. The video cuts off suddenly, but the story does not end there. Not long after, he posted a second video from a stationary camera in the same kitchen. What this second camera captures is even more chilling. If you look closely at the screen, a ghostly figure glides across the kitchen before vanishing. The movement is so quick that you might miss it the first time you watch, but once you see the figure, it is very hard to ignore. Skeptics say the objects were moved with fishing wire and the ghost was added with editing software. However, back in 2009, this would have required a lot of technical skill and planning. Initially, it looks like a simple haunting, but the physical force used to throw items is alarming. It makes me wonder if the blessing itself actually triggered the response. Was this a real case of a poltergeist or just a very clever hoax from the early days of the platform? Either way, it is one of the most memorable ghost videos ever shared online. It serves as a reminder that we might not be the only ones inhabiting our living spaces. If you ever see things moving on their own, would you stay in the house or leave immediately? This footage comes from a CCTV camera in Bengaluru, India. You can see a small group of people standing on a sidewalk. They are just talking and going about their day. It looks like a normal afternoon until the very end. A 42-year-old man was driving while intoxicated. He lost control and crashed his vehicle. The car came barreling toward the bystanders at a quick speed. Initially, the group did not notice the danger. Then they heard a loud noise and reacted with a swift jump. Most of the people managed to move out of the way. One person was struck and suffered minor injuries. The driver was also wounded in the collision. I feel relieved that nobody was killed in this wreck. It is terrifying how life can change because of one person's bad choice. We are lucky no youngsters were walking there. A young one would not have been able to move that fast. Always keep your ears open when you're near a road. On October 11th, 2025, a harrowing outdoor encounter was shared by a user known as Adventure Marksman. While he and his wife were deep in a remote wilderness scouting an old logging trail for elk, they were stopped in their tracks by a sound that mimicked a child in distress. Reacting quickly, they began documenting the area with a GoPro. However, the audio they captured defied simple explanation. Instead of a lost youngster, it appeared to be two distinct creatures using complex vocalizations to communicate with one another.
Holy shit.
Despite being experienced armed hunters, the couple was visibly shaken by the experience.
I don't know. It's time to go. Nice and slow.
The atmosphere felt so predatory and unnatural that they eventually chose to retreat from the area, though they noted a bizarre energy permeating that specific patch of forest. Before they could fully escape the woods, they stumbled upon one final inexplicable discovery that added to the mystery of the location.
It's got to be 12 feet high or 15 feet maybe, and the bark is just stripped. I don't know what could do that.
On January 20th, 2023, a man named Anthony Young shared a short but terrifying video from his home security system on Facebook. He asked his friends and viewers to help him figure out what exactly his camera had recorded in the middle of the night. The footage is quite short, but it shows a very clear and disturbing event. You can see a person walking around outside in the dark, with only a few faint lights visible in the yard. Initially, the scene looks perfectly normal and quiet. There is no noise and nothing seems to be out of place in the background. Then a very strange event happens near the garbage cans. We see a ghostly figure suddenly sprint across the open yard. The pale shape moves with a lot of purpose and heads directly toward the front door of the house. The figure vanishes into thin air before it ever reaches the entrance, leaving no physical trace behind. The quick speed of the apparition makes the whole moment feel especially unnerving. It is the kind of footage that forces you to hit the rewind button just to make sure your eyes were not playing tricks on you. I feel terrible for Anthony because the idea of a spirit rushing your front door is enough to keep anyone awake at night. This is why I always keep my porch lights on and check my camera alerts immediately. Skeptics have looked at the clip and offered several grounded explanations for the shape. Some believe it was just a small insect flying very close to the camera lens. Others think it was a trick of the light or a real person who looks blurry because of the motion. However, the way the figure runs and then instantly disappears makes those theories hard to accept. Anthony has not posted any updates since he shared this original clip. Because of this, we do not know if he experienced any other strange activity in his home afterward. I truly hope that whatever that fleeting shape was, it never actually found a way to get inside his house. This video was taken in the Russian city of Vanich, caught by a man who heard an odd noise. Yes, I believe he was aware that a drone was approaching, but he had no intention of filming the exact moment it struck a structure. It is still unclear why it crashed into a structure, and there have been no official reports on casualties or damage to date. Elementary schools are normally known as places of joy and growth. These are spaces where young ones take their first steps into the world, but when these buildings are abandoned and left to rot, the warmth fades away. A much heavier feeling takes its place. Some of these forgotten structures seem to hold onto a dark energy. In August of 2023, a TikTok user named Mike Runner shared a video of an abandoned school. The building had clearly been left untouched for many years. As he moves through the empty hallways, you can see a creeping sense of unease. I feel terrible for anyone who has to explore these places alone. This is why I never like visiting old buildings after the sun goes down. Mike finds drawings from youngsters scattered across the dusty floors. Most of the art looks innocent. However, a few pages show unsettling shapes that feel out of place. The imagery does not seem like the work of a typical youngster. The drawings are spread out across different rooms. It looks as if the school was vacated in a quick manner and frozen in time. A strange metallic voice suddenly cuts through the silence. It echoes down the hallway with a robotic and unnatural tone. It is impossible to tell where the sound is coming from. Some viewers think this is a spirit trying to communicate. Others believe the audio was added later using distortion effects. Still, the sound blends with the atmosphere in a way that feels disturbingly real. A large dark figure appears standing motionless in the corner of a room. It does not move or react to Mike. It simply looms in place. This shape is easy to miss initially, but it is impossible to ignore once you see it. Some say it is just a shadow or an oddly shaped object. Others insist the figure is too defined to be a mistake. The video captures an eerie stillness that many associate with haunted places. The laughter of young ones has been replaced by silence and decay. I cannot imagine seeing a dark figure watching me from a corner. Do you think this was a real person hiding in the school or something else? On June 12, 2000, what began as a routine commute in Rio de Janeiro turned into one of the most devastating tragedies in modern Brazilian history. A 21-year-old named Sandro Barbosa do Nascimento boarded bus line 104 with a concealed revolver, intending to rob the passengers. But when military police intercepted the vehicle, the robbery transformed into a 5-hour hostage crisis, broadcast live to millions of terrified viewers. Sandro was no stranger to horror. As a child, he had witnessed his mother's murder and later survived the infamous Candelaria massacre, where off-duty officers opened fire on street youngsters. Now, he was the one holding the gun. He forced hostages to the windows, placed his weapon in their mouths, and even staged a fake execution to keep the police at bay. While he whispered to the hostages that it was all a performance for the cameras, the tension outside was reaching a breaking point. The police response was a masterclass in chaos. With no clear strategy and media crews allowed dangerously close, the standoff dragged on for hours. Finally, as the sun set, Sandro emerged from the bus using a young teacher named Geza as a human shield. In a frantic, botched attempt to stop him, an officer fired, accidentally striking Geza in the face. Startled and falling to the ground, Sandro pulled the trigger 3 times, executing the hostage in front of the entire nation. But the nightmare didn't end with the arrest. Though Sandro was taken alive into a police van, he never made it to the hospital. He was strangled to death by the officers in the back of that vehicle, a final act of violence that left the world questioning who the true monsters were that day. The dashcam footage that is displayed was captured in a Moscow taxi. The taxi driver is simply following the route, but an unforeseen event is about to occur.
А? Да что за тоннель? А, мы как раз по нему едем. Стойте. Это большой? Я так не умею. Можешь сам сказать, через МКАД ехать.
Спокойствие, мама, вон поворот, по-моему, это...
Просто я же не знаю, что это вообще. Это вот тоннель как раз. Большой? Да. Все нормально. Стоп. Нет, подождите.
Что вы делаете?
Нет, подождите. Остановите, пожалуйста, машину. Остановите.
Нельзя останавливаться.
Я умоляю вас, остановите машину.
Нельзя останавливаться. Нельзя останавливаться.
Ну я так не могу.
Нельзя останавливаться.
Это большой. Я знаю, я пешком пойду.
Нет.
Евгений, сколько он метров?
Километр примерно. Тут нельзя.
Евгений, я вас умоляю.
Смотрите на меня. Со мной все хорошо. Смотрите на меня.
Это же живописно. Евгений,
тут нельзя. Нет. Дайте мне руку. Все нормально. Смотрите на меня. Все нормально. Смотрите на меня. Все нормально. Не переживайте. Все нормально. Не переживайте. Все нормально. Ничего страшного. Доверяете мне? Все хорошо, не переживайте.
In fact, the women at the front began to fear. They went into a tunnel, which is why. Although I'm not sure why she was worrying, panic attacks can occur suddenly. He deserves praise for keeping everything under control and preventing her from leaving in the midst of the tunnel. That would have been extremely risky. Fortunately, the excursion proceeded as planned. A Reddit user named Lomdrix shared a video on the Ghost subreddit that might change how you feel about being home alone during the day. The footage comes from his mother's Ring camera and proves that broad daylight does not always mean you're safe. In this video, you can see his mother putting a leash on the family dog. She is getting ready for a walk and seems completely unaware of anything strange happening nearby. Initially, the scene looks like a normal morning routine, but if you look at the hallway in the background, a shadow-like figure glides across the floor. The movement resembles a person walking past a doorway. It is especially unsettling because the mother does not react at all, even though the shape passes right behind her back. I feel terrible for her because realizing someone or something was that close without your knowledge is terrifying. This is why I always feel a bit paranoid, even when the sun is shining through the windows. Ring camera shadows are sometimes just tricks of the light or reflections from cars driving by. Shifting sunlight or lamps can often create distorted shapes that look like people. However, this hallway does not appear to have any light source that would cast such a deliberate shadow. The stride of the shadow looks purposeful, as if it had its own intention. It does not look like a random blur or a technical glitch. Imagine replaying your security footage and seeing a dark presence just a few feet away from you. Whether it was a paranormal spirit or a strange camera anomaly, the moment is undeniably chilling. It makes you rethink the comfort of a bright room. In 2009, news crews in Monterrey, Mexico, captured a deeply unsettling scene unfolding in front of a luxury hotel. A young woman identified as Gabriela Rico Jimenez was filmed having a public breakdown while screaming a series of terrifying allegations. She claimed to have been held captive by a powerful group of cannibals, a statement that led many internet investigators to speculate she was referring to the Illuminati. During her outcry, she named several high-profile individuals, including Carlos Slim, who was then the wealthiest man in the country. The disturbance quickly drew the intervention of local authorities, who apprehended her as the cameras continued to roll.
Esta joven al momento que estaba protagonizando este escándalo en plena vía pública. Adelante.
Libertad. Contra rebelión, pero no yo trabajo. Duró 1 año y 4 meses en la Ciudad de México. Todo esto empezó a mediados de 2001 con casi no recuerdo. No poderosas, sino por gente. Las mataron. También como iban tocando puerta por puerta. Yo lo que quería
Luis, esta es la triste realidad de la joven Gabriela Rico Jiménez, quien, como observamos en momentos, intentó también agredir al elemento policíaco que logró someterla esta madrugada. Por eso que, bueno, vamos a buscar la versión de las autoridades.
Following her arrest and the initial media coverage, the case took a cryptic turn. Gabriela effectively vanished from the public eye. There have been no follow-up interviews, official status updates, or public records regarding her whereabouts since that day. Theories regarding her disappearance remain divided. Many observers attribute the incident to a severe schizophrenic episode and assume she was moved to a private psychiatric facility. Others lean into darker theories, suggesting she was silenced by the influential figure she attempted to expose. Because there has been no official word on her fate for over a decade, Gabriela's story remains one of the most enduring and disturbing rabbit holes in the realm of modern urban legends. A windstorm hit in Bursa, Turkey. The footage that follows is insane.
Eyvahlar olsun arkadaşlar. Eyvah. Eyvahlar olsun. Eyvahlar olsun arkadaşlar. Eyvah. Yok. Yapta hiç yok, batıyoruz.
Some claim that these waves caused several vessels to sink at the same time. Since this occurred only a few days ago, the full extent of the devastation is still unknown, and as of right now, no fatalities have been reported. Nevertheless, I've seen numerous films of objects falling from buildings and other structures, so that might be a risk. How many of you out there are fans of the show Stranger Things? It has become one of the most iconic series in television history. If you have seen it, you already know that Hawkins' lab is a very unsettling place. In the show, the facility is tied to dark experiments and dangerous monster attacks. In real life, the filming location is supposed to be a completely normal building. However, a TikTok posted by JC Rodriguez suggests there is more to the story. JC is a huge fan of the series and simply wanted to visit the site in person. Instead of a fun sightseeing trip, he walked away feeling genuinely shaken.
It's moving, I can see it. It's closing.
Completely shut. That guy rolling out the window. It completely shut. The car is started.
Sorry, did you see it?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh
Look,
my
it's
god. Look, it's opening again.
Wait, get on video, get on video.
Somebody record this.
I am.
This is paranormal experience.
There's no wind either. Like you can just look at the trees right now. They're not moving at all.
Completely abandoned. No wind. There's nothing anymore.
Like you can look at the plants, the tree, nothing is blowing. It's
Right.
just opening.
There's no explanation for that. It's also so irregular that it can't be like
It's opening.
automatic.
It's opening. It's opening. No.
No, it's opening fast.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Oh my
That's the
God.
widest it's opened.
That fast too.
What is that?
It's opening and closing.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna need to send me that video.
Filming this? Okay, thank God.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I need to know the history of this place.
Is that a person?
Yeah, we're gonna save ourselves. Don't worry.
What is that?
What is what?
Do you see that? Look at my
There's
phone.
definitely something moving inside. No, I see it.
What is that?
I see
Is
it.
that a person?
Is that a person?
Why does that looks like a person? I'm looking at JC's phone. It looks
Yeah,
like a
it's like
person.
a
in
person.
there. I'm looking at his phone. It's literally a figure. I'm scared.
No, I see
You're
it.
recording
I
that,
see
right?
it. I see it.
Okay, so you could play back and show you guys.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, okay. I see it. Please put the window up. I see it. It's a dark figure.
driving.
It's a dark figure. It's a
We're
dark figure.
driving.
It's a dark figure.
We're
I
driving.
don't like that.
Ooh, brakes are on.
Please. I see a dark figure moving.
In this video by JC Rodriguez, you can see the front door of the building moving on its own. It looks as if an invisible person is gently pulling it from the inside. I feel terrible that a simple fan visit turned into such a creepy encounter. This is why I never like exploring old filming locations alone. The situation gets worse at the 1 minute mark of the footage. You can spot what looks like a dark hooded figure standing on one of the high balconies. This person or entity is watching JC and his friends from above. What makes this especially especially unnerving is the history of the location itself. Hawkins' lab was filmed at the old Georgia Mental Health Institute. This massive facility has been abandoned for decades. There are no staff members or security guards assigned to the building. Nobody should be inside that structure at all. Initially, you might think it's just a squatter, but the way the figure lingers is very haunting. Why was a door opening by itself if the site is truly empty? The idea of someone observing you from a dark window is my worst nightmare. The next time you watch this show, remember that not every mystery is fictional. Some buildings carry their own dark stories long before the actors arrive. Would you have the courage to walk up to that moving door? This video shows times celebrity obsession is indeed unhealthy. Watch. Luckily, no reports of injuries, but people need to be smarter than this. Check out this incredibly bizarre footage.
Mother trucker. Bro, thank goodness I was slow.
Extremely slow reaction time, although I suppose he wasn't staring at the wheel, could account for his sluggish reaction. However, if I simply observed a wheel going in my direction, I would also be extremely perplexed. It was a normal day for this driver in Vietnam till this transpired. Two individuals fell off their scooter. Fortunately, the driver was alert and didn't hit them. Otherwise, they could have ended bad. A Reddit user named Small P shared a video on the Paranormal Encounter subreddit that has left the community baffled. Small P served in the Navy and spent many months of his life deployed at sea. He claims he witnessed many things he could not explain while on duty. This specific moment is the only one he ever managed to capture on his camera. The video begins with a view of an empty corridor lit by the cold glow of a security lens. Initially, the hallway looks completely ordinary and quiet, but after only a few seconds, something unexpected darts into the frame. A strange, dark figure moves with an unnatural bounce before it abruptly blinks out of existence. The people in the comment section were just as confused as the uploader was. One person said the shape looked like a character from a movie because of its fluid and inhuman movement. Others tried to claim it was just a young one running past the camera. However, the way the figure vanishes so suddenly makes that theory very hard to accept. I feel terrible for the sailors on that ship because there is nowhere to run when you're in the middle of the ocean. This is why I never liked the idea of being trapped in a small space with no easy exit. The setting of this video makes the mystery much deeper. This was not filmed on a busy street or in a normal neighborhood. The footage was recorded in the USS Ronald Reagan, which is an active Navy vessel. The ship was isolated in the deep ocean, far away from any other people. If it really was just a youngster, how would they have ever reached a military ship at sea? If it was not a person, then what did the camera Small P actually record that night? The clip leaves behind a very uncomfortable and heavy impression. You can only hope that whatever that entity was, it never appeared in the sleeping quarters of the crew. This horrifying footage was recorded in Asuncion, the capital of Paraguay. The date was February 16, 2024. Heavy winds hit the city on that day. Usually a storm is not noteworthy. However, the result of this weather was terrifying. In this video, you can see a man on high scaffolding. He was simply doing glasswork when the wind became violent. The gusts threw the metal structure around. This caused him to fall and hang on for his life. I feel terrible for him because he was just trying to do his job. Local news identified the worker as 35-year-old Angel Gamara. Initially, it looks like he would not survive the drop. He had to hold on while the wind tossed him back and forth. The situation required a quick rescue effort. Emergency crews made a swift response to reach him. Angel survived this event with only minor injuries to his left leg. This is truly one of the best outcomes possible. I am relieved that no youngsters were walking below the scaffolding. A young one could have been struck by falling metal. A soccer game was underway in a gated community in Guayaquil, Ecuador. Players were running across an artificial pitch on a quiet evening. Security cameras recorded the exact moment the piece was shattered. 5 men wearing police uniforms marched onto the field. They were armed with rifles and wore masks to conceal their identities. The players dropped to the turf to avoid gunfire. These men were not officers, they were killers in disguise. The gunmen walked to the middle of the pitch and targeted a man in a black shirt. One attacker stepped on the man's head and executed him at point-blank range. Police later discovered 2 more bodies nearby. How do you protect yourself when a threat looks like a rescue? Attackers use uniforms to bypass security and create confusion. Pay close attention to how someone in uniform acts and moves. If something feels off, do not wait to find out why. Leave the area immediately. A woman named Megs uploaded a deeply unsettling video to TikTok that captures strange activity during the day. She grabs her phone because she feels like something is wrong in her house. Her brother is sleeping on the couch while she films the living area. He is completely unaware that a disturbing presence might be lingering just a few feet away from his head. Initially, the room looks quiet and safe, but if you look down the long hallway, a faint ghostly figure appears to be standing near the door. It stays visible for only a short time before it disappears entirely. Just a second or two later, the figure is gone from the frame. Megs explains in her caption that she recorded this footage years ago. Even after all this time, she still has no logical explanation for what the lens captured that day. I feel terrible for her because your home should be the one place where you feel completely secure. This is why I always feel a bit nervous when the house is too quiet during the afternoon. If you compare the video frames, a vacuum cleaner in the hall stays in the exact same spot. This detail makes the quick disappearance of the figure feel even more bizarre. There is no shadow moving away and no sign of an exit. The shape simply vanishes into thin air. Some people think a real person just stepped back into a room out of sight. Others believe it could be a clever trick made with digital editing software. However, the video sat unnoticed for years before she finally shared it with the world. This makes the idea of a planned hoax much harder to confirm with any certainty. It seems unlikely someone would work so hard on a fake video and then hide it for that long. What do you think was standing in that hallway? Was it a genuine ghost watching the family? Or is there a grounded explanation we are missing? If a youngster was in the house, I would be very worried about their safety around such an entity. You should never ignore the feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're in your own living room. It is a chilling reminder that we may never truly know what is hiding in the corners of our homes. If I told you this next video is the strangest thing you will see today, you might not believe me. Since this is just dashcam footage, you might think you have seen it all. You're wrong. Whatever you're picturing right now is likely far from the truth. You will not be able to guess what happens in these next few seconds. This video was recorded on September 15th in China. The events on screen are so confusing that people online created complex diagrams to explain the physics. In this video, you can see a collision that looks minor. However, the result is anything but small. Initially, the cars seem to barely touch. Then one vehicle suddenly flips onto its side and slides past the other at a quick speed. I feel terrible for the people inside that car because that impact must have been jarring. It is frightening how a small bump can turn a heavy machine into a projectile. I always worry about other drivers when I'm out on the road. You never know when a simple lane change will go wrong. On a Tuesday in May 2025, a residential neighborhood in Pinellas County, Florida, became the backdrop for a traffic stop that spiraled into a full-blown arrest. It began when a deputy spotted a vehicle matching a bolo and be on the lookout for reckless driving. The driver, a young woman already on edge from a self-described worst day ever, allegedly rolled through a stop sign, giving the deputy all the reason she needed to flip on the lights.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have a bad experience at Pinellas County Sheriff's Office?
I have a lot of experience.
You're going to have another one if you don't calm down.
No, I can't calm down. I'm so beyond fed up right now. Like, this is actually ridiculous.
It sounds like you're just getting a ticket.
That's fine.
And then you can go about your way.
She can surely write me a ticket since she wanted to follow me since she's bored.
Okay.
That's completely fine.
Take it to court.
See me in court. Yes,
Take it to court.
She can see me in court.
But
that's absolutely absurd.
If you
that
battle
she's
us,
gonna follow
if
me
you battle us out
into
here,
my neighborhood,
you're gonna lose.
because she wanted to get me a ticket.
She was the one from the Bola.
Okay.
And she, before in here, she did a stop bar violation, so I stopped her.
You can still do welfare check based on the bolo. Why is she all hot?
Because as soon as I pulled up, that's what I walked up to. She's yelling. And as I'm sitting here, she's saying she's going to punch me in the face.
I didn't even have to keep driving, but she was following me.
But the moment the officer approached, it was clear this wasn't going to be a standard exchange. The driver was already erupting in hot-headed fury, screaming into her phone to her mother. The air was thick with hostility, but it crossed a dangerous line when the woman, in the heat of her rage, reportedly threatened to punch the deputy in the face. It's a moment of pure impulsive aggression, a threat made in the presence of law enforcement that instantly changed the stakes of the encounter.
Mad at her for enforcing something.
I'm mad at her for following me for no reason.
Okay, well, you can't threaten.
So you guys can just sit there and follow people?
You can't threaten to punch us either.
So you guys can just sit there and follow people for no reason, without a reason to do so?
Sure.
641 Cup Ball, 570 back. Go welfare check 14.
All right.
Have her get out. You can get out.
For what?
You're going to jail.
For what?
Get out of the car.
For what?
No.
I'm gonna get out of the. I will get out of the
I'm gonna
vehicle.
cut your
I will
seatbelt.
get out. Let me get out. Oh my God, this is absolutely ridiculous.
No, it's not. What's absolutely ridiculous is you threatening to punch one of my deputies in the face.
Cool.
When backup arrived, the scene took on an even more surreal quality. The woman, now being told she was under arrest for the threat, shifted into a state of mocking disbelief. She laughed at the officers, calling the situation ridiculous and absurd. Even as she was being led to the patrol car in handcuffs, her defiance didn't stop at the car door. She continued to hurl insults, questioning the deputies' manhood and their career choices, accusing them of being bored and just trying to meet a quota.
5 cops for one person. You guys are crazy. Oh my God. I'm walking just fine.
Well, your stance.
Just tell me what to do and I can do it. You don't need to touch me.
You had a hard time doing that before, so.
You guys gave me one direction to do. And didn't even give me 0.2 seconds to get out of the car. So, yeah.
Hello? Anyone still on the phone? Nope. Okay. Keys. Wallet. What's your code so we can call your mom?
I think she's right there.
Okay. The black pickup truck?
Yeah. That's her boyfriend. Okay. Yes, please record, because they're already manhandling the out of it.
The tension expanded beyond the suspect as her boyfriend arrived on the scene in a black pickup truck. The interaction between him and the deputies highlighted a relatively new and controversial Florida law, the requirement for bystanders to stay at least 25 feet away from an active investigation after being warned. The boyfriend, skeptical and defensive, found himself on the receiving end of a final warning, a stark reminder of the legal boundaries that now define police interactions in the state.
All right, so you got to stay 25 feet away according to Florida law. Yeah,
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's a new law.
That is not a new law.
That is a new law.
Let me see that. Where is that?
Look
Let
it
me see
up.
where it's written.
Look it up. Now,
Sergeant.
if you want to take her vehicle, you can take her vehicle.
I want to know what is going on.
I'm getting arrested for threatening them, apparently.
I want to know the whole situation.
She got stopped for traffic.
Okay.
Apparently,
in her neighborhood.
She's been
In her neighborhood. So you stop people in their neighborhood?
A neighborhood.
No, a neighborhood is her neighborhood. So
Okay.
don't say a neighborhood. This is her neighborhood.
Does it make you feel better if I say her neighborhood?
Go ahead.
Don't touch me. Anybody else can deal with me but you, bitch.
Let me check.
She's gonna get cited. She didn't agree with the violation. She threatened to punch that.
What's your
face.
name?
What's my name?
Yeah. Identify yourself.
Deputy Mike Valenti.
Okay.
61652.
Okay. And you too?
Deputy Figicelli, 59060.
Okay.
And what's your name?
I don't even need to.
You're 25 feet away.
Okay, but I want to.
You're gonna go to jail too. 25 feet away.
I'm well.
We're giving you a
isn't
lawful
25.
order to stay
This is
outside of
25.
this
This is
investigation,
listen,
okay? This is your final warning. This is a new law. If you interfere with this investigation, you will go to jail.
All right.
You understand? You have been warned, as it is stated in the statute that is required.
A little power trip right now going, aren't we?
We're not done recording with our cell phones.
Yes, you are recording.
I didn't say.
Yes, you just. I'm not the one recording.
With my cell phone.
That's you. Well, okay.
As the officers worked to verify the boyfriend's license so he could take the car, the woman's monologue from the back of the cruiser continued. She alternated between claiming she was manhandled and mocking the deputies for needing 5 cops for 1 girl. It was a disturbing display as someone who felt completely untouchable. Even while restrained, she even went as far as to suggest that the deputy was only enforcing the law because she was bored or power tripping.
Oh my god, you think you're so big and bad and above everything else. That's crazy. You think you're so cool because you're a police officer. Crazy. You're just nothing. Y'all ain't got nothing better to do with yourself. Because there's nobody, committing real crimes or anything. Girl, you're crazy. Oh my god, can't handle shit, huh? You can't handle nothing. Absolutely crazy.
In the final moments of the footage, the woman's bravado remained unbroken. She continued to taunt the officers, suggesting they should be out fighting real crime instead of harassing people in her neighborhood. It's a chilling look at how a routine traffic stop for a minor violation can escalate into a criminal charge of friending a public official, all fueled by a hot-headed moment of lost control. The video ends not with a resolution, but with the hollow echoes of her insults, a haunting example of how a bad day can become a life-changing disaster in the blink of an eye. In this video, you can see a home security recording from the middle of the night. The property looks still and silent. Initially, everything seems perfectly normal until a house cat walks into the frame. A dark, shadowy figure appears right behind the animal. It follows the pet with a quick motion that looks too deliberate to be a trick of the light. I feel terrible for this pet owner because I would never be able to relax in my house again. This is why I always keep a close eye on my own pets when they act strange at night. A TikTok user named Tammy G uploaded the next piece of footage. At the very start of her security clip, something faint drifts into the corner of the screen. The shape is subtle. It resembles a pale figure moving through her living space. The entity appears unconcerned that a camera is recording its every move. You can see how the shape glides through the room without making a single sound. It makes you wonder if these spirits even know we are there watching them. Keep watching because this gets even stranger. The next video from Tammy G is even more unnerving. She decided to set up a camera in her own bedroom while she slept. She likely did this because of the constant activity she was already dealing with. As the room sits in total darkness, a shape appears once again. Tammy later shared 2 more videos showing heavy objects shifting around on their own. Each event adds to a growing pattern of the house under siege by something invisible. The movement of the furniture is swift and seemingly effortless. Skeptics think these are just camera glitches or reflections from passing cars. Some suggest that clever digital editing could be used to create the pale figures, but the cat in the first clip clearly reacts to the presence behind it. This makes the footage much harder to dismiss as a simple hoax. I cannot imagine waking up and seeing a recording of a figure standing over my bed. What would you do if your pet started following an invisible person through your hallway? It is important to protect every youngster in the home if you suspect an intruder is present. A young one might be more sensitive to these energies than an adult. You should never ignore it if a youngster claims they see a person in their room at night. These clips leave behind a sense of dread that stays with you long after the video ends.
Hi, my baby, please, my baby.
I got her.
No, no.
I got her.
In Wyoming, Minnesota, a building was swallowed by a massive fire. The temperatures were in the single digits as firefighters arrived. Inside, several people were trapped with no way out. The roof began to collapse, making it impossible to enter the structure. Imagine the terror of being stuck in a burning room while the ceiling falls around. A 35-foot ladder was the only hope for those inside. In this footage, you can see a mother making a heartbreaking choice. She hands her child to a firefighter through a high window. The child reaches back for her as she is carried down to safety. It is a moment of pure desperation.
It's okay. Hey. Oh no. We got you.
Firefighters also pulled 2 adults and a cat from the thick smoke. Everyone was treated for smoke inhalation, but they survived the ordeal. This story is a reminder how quickly a home can turn into a trap. Do you have a plan to get out if your house catches fire tonight? Check your smoke detectors now. One small battery could be the difference between life and death. This next clip was recorded in Alberta, Canada by a professional photographer. She usually takes photos of the local wildlife. In this video, she captures a moment that received heavy condemnation from Alberta officials. You might wonder why she faced such a harsh response. I believe you will agree with the officials after you see what happened. In this video, you can see the photographer walk directly up to a bear den. The bear was actively inside the hole at the time. Initially, it seems like she is just trying to get a close look. Then the bear becomes visible and clearly agitated. I feel terrible that anyone would put themselves or an animal in this much danger. This is honestly one of the worst ideas I've ever seen. The bear was not bothering anyone until she approached. Doing this just agitates the animal and creates a risk for a tragic event. You can see the bear swipe at her with its claws. You do not need to be an expert to know that the bear wanted her to leave. This short clip comes from Damascus, a location positioned right on the front line of the ongoing Ukrainian conflict. In this video, you can see a drone hovering over a desolate landscape. This specific machine was a supply drone that had been launched just moments before the recording began.
Все. И вот так производится доставка на передний край. Туда, где не можем техникой заехать, доставляем таким образом. Лужи, не лужи, нам все равно. И все. Вот она и поехала туда на передок.
The device traveled only a short distance before it ran into an anti-tank mine. Initially, the flight appears smooth, but then a massive explosion occurs. You should keep in mind that Ukraine has now become the most heavily mined nation on the entire planet. I feel terrible for the people who have to live and work in such a dangerous environment. It is frightening to think that a hidden explosive can be anywhere under the soil. This is why I never liked the idea of walking through areas that have seen heavy combat. The blast was incredibly quick and destroyed the drone instantly. We move from quiet homes with restless energy to a workplace where a presence has been lurking for days. A YouTuber known as the Alaskans explains that he was working late in his studio. At around 3 in the morning, he was finally preparing to head home. For several nights, he had been hearing unsettling noises inside the building. He heard heavy footsteps echoing through empty rooms. He also saw strange movements just at the edge of his vision. He claims that minutes before filming, he went to the bathroom and felt a hand grab his shoulder. It's at around running away, he decided he needed to find answers. He pulled out his phone to see if he could catch the intruder on camera. He checks the bathroom first. Initially, the room looks completely ordinary. He eventually turns to leave the area. You must pay attention to what happens as he steps into the corridor. At the time, he did not seem to notice anything. However, viewers spotted something terrifying in the background. You can see a figure briefly peering around the corner at him. The entity pulls its head back out of sight with a quick movement. The recording cuts off shortly after this moment. I feel terrible for this man because being hunted in your own workplace is a nightmare. This is why I never liked being the last person to leave an office building. Someone had been lurking out of view for days while he worked. There have been no updates from the uploader since this was shared. It is unclear if the situation ever escalated further. Skeptics suggest it was just a trick of the light or a shifting shadow. Others think it was a person leaning against the wall to look taller than normal. This would explain why the head in the clip seems so high up in the stairwell. Even if it was an elaborate prank, the footage remains very unsettling. Whatever this was, it stayed partly hidden until the perfect moment. Can you imagine the fear watching this back and seeing a face watching you? It makes you wonder how many times we are observed when we think we're alone. I have no words for the short clip. Observe. That person is incredibly lucky, wouldn't you agree? This chilling footage from China appeared online only a few days ago. The events in the video are deeply upsetting and truly grim. In this video, you can see several employees at a construction site. An industrial crane is active in the background. Pay close attention to the group of workers sitting together. A terrifying disaster occurs without any warning. The crane was moving heavy supplies through the air. Suddenly, the machinery failed and released the load directly onto the men. It is like watching a scene from a horror movie. Initially, the workers do not see the danger coming from above. The weight fell with a quick impact that left no room for escape. I feel terrible for these families who lost their loved ones so suddenly. This is why I always feel nervous walking near heavy machinery. You never know when a mechanical failure might happen. News outlets have confirmed the worst possible news. Every man in that group tragically lost his life in the accident. It's a relief that no youngsters were visiting the site that day. A young one would have stood no chance against such a heavy blow. Here's a collection of insane footage that transpired in Ukraine, January 2026. Take a look.
Ребята, у нас во Львове что-то въебало сейчас.
This clip is genuinely terrifying to witness and looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie. In this video, you can see the city being struck by the Orishnik, a new Russian intermediate-range ballistic missile. I am not joking when I say these images are some of the most unsettling I have ever shared with you. The footage shows several warheads falling from the sky at incredible speeds. These are multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, and they travel at roughly 13,000 kilometers per hour. Initially, it looks like streaks of light or even shooting stars. Then the impact occurs with a quick and devastating force. I feel terrible for the people living in the target zone because this represents man-made horrors beyond comprehension. It's frightening to realize that such a swift and powerful weapon exists in our world today. This is why I always worry about the escalation of modern conflicts. On the Ghost subreddit, a user known as the Proof Seekers posted a clip that has captured the attention of the entire community. The video shows some very unsettling activity happening inside a bedroom during the bright hours of the day. The recording comes from a stationary camera that is focused on the bed and the surrounding furniture. Initially, nothing seems the slightest bit unusual about the scene. It looks like any other quiet and empty bedroom. Everything in the frame is still and uneventful until the atmosphere changes with a swift shift. Without any warning, a deep and whispery voice can be heard saying hello from somewhere very close to the lens. The sound lasts only a brief moment, but the tone of the greeting is unmistakably eerie. In this video by the Proof Seekers, there is not much context provided to explain what happened before or after the recording. This lack of information only makes the footage feel more creepy to those who watch it. The voice is clear enough for you to hear every letter, yet there is no visual sign of a source. No person enters the room and there is no movement from the closet or the hallway. This total lack of a physical presence is exactly what has unsettled so many viewers online. Some people in the comments said the voice sounded like a sound from a nightmare. Others wondered if the audio came from a television or a video game playing in a different part of the house. However, nothing in the clip suggests there is any electronic device nearby that would make sense. The greeting is direct and feels as if someone is standing right next to the camera. It is not the kind of voice you ever want to hear when you think you are by yourself. It's a scene that every first responder dreads, a home where the basic instincts of motherhood have been replaced by a chemical fog. The call came from a woman's own sister who had received a FaceTime call so disturbing she couldn't ignore it. She described seeing her sister Erica completely under the influence, while her 3 toddlers, all under the age of 4, roamed the house unattended. By the time the sister arrived and took the children to safety, she found Erica naked, incoherent, and vomiting in the shower.
She has 3 kids.
Okay.
All under the age of 4.
Oh, okay.
I came over. I have her 2 oldest girls that she has a big fire. I took her 2 oldest into custody after DCFS took protective custody and adopted her. I came over here completely butt naked, completely drunk in the shower, and the 3 kids are here unattended. I removed the 3 kids.
Okay.
And took them to my house with my husband.
That was when then?
Today, right now.
So they're there
They're
now?
at my house.
Okay.
I came over here, so my sister called me today, right now, like an hour ago, and said, Erica just called me, FaceTimed me, and is crying and screaming. The 3 kids are over there. She's like, do you want to go over there? Because my sister's in the cities.
Okay.
So I said, okay. So I came over here, and Erica is butt naked in the shower. I think that's her puking. Butt naked in the shower, completely drunk, and her eyes are all, I mean, we can go in there. My mom's in there. I called my mom too, and I said, you know, Erica and I don't have communication whatsoever. I don't talk to her.
Does she talk to mom?
She does talk to my mom here and there. But I removed the kids. I want a DCFS report.
I will contact them, yes. I'll need their names and stuff. I'll get that from you here. I know she's kind of dabbled in, like, I don't know if it's meth or heroin or what in the past. Is she still...
She's under something, and the kids are not safe.
When the police arrived, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Erica wasn't just intoxicated, she was combative. As officers entered the home, they were met with a barrage of profanity-laced defiance. The most chilling part of the encounter was the utter lack of concern Erica showed for her children. Instead of asking where they were or if they were safe, she spent her energy hurling vile insults and bizarre accusations at everyone in the room.
Hi, Erica. I'm Officer Paulson. I'm here to check on you, make sure you're okay. Your sister asked me to come check on you.
What the f*** calling these f***ing ass cops?
You can't take care of your kids, Erica.
I can't take care of my kids, you little cop calling ass.
Is that why they were unsupervised while you're drunk and high?
I'm not high. I can pass a drug test right now. That's why your little f***ing husband beats on you.
Erica.
I'm not f***ing drunk or high. You can pass the drug test right now. Why you call this fat ass bitch? Why you call this fat ass
I trust the kids because they're safe with you. I will I press charges.
Stop.
Press charges.
Touch me.
Back up.
Touch
press charges. I got a whole.
Can you please put some clothes on?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
You little bitch.
Stop. Back up. Back up.
Yeah,
You want 15? Can I get one more?
Kids. Right. Two of your daughters.
Right,
Yes.
and my daughter sure does say that your husband fucking my daughter. Right.
Tell him to step it up.
Right. Why the fuck is your little fat ass
Can you please?
Where's your
What's
boy
your name?
Officer Paulson,
Okay.
you can have
Right.
one expedite.
That's why my daughter says your husband her. Right. And he ain't even blood to my daughter.
Erica, can you please put some clothes on?
I will put clothes.
Thank you.
Why is this in my house? You little fat
Stop. Stop.
Hit me.
I will hit you.
Hit me.
Stop.
I will hit you.
Let her hit me.
No.
I
She
wanna
is not
put-
allowed in my house.
This isn't your house. This is my house.
This is
Stop.
my house.
Stop.
Right?
Yes.
This is not
Stop.
in my house.
Stop. Stop. You're not gonna hit her.
Talking shit.
Stop.
Cause this little hoe don't mean shit. That's why she lets
Can you
her
give her some
husband my daughter.
Can you get some clothes, please?
I will put clothes on because this little fat ass don't mean shit. Just because her husband doesn't
Stop.
settle her.
Can you give
right?
her some
Because
clothes?
you don't please your husband's needs, right? That's why my 12-year-old says that you beat on her. I will put clothes on right now, officer.
Are these your clothes?
I don't know. And I know she does not like me. She is my older sibling. And my 12-year-old daughter does also say that her husband her.
That's not good.
And he has a history of being a and she has no relation
See if you can find
to
her
me.
some pants, please.
No,
We can't find
she
them.
doesn't need
I
to
don't know
find
if
me
they're
some
upstairs.
pants. And she is a piece of shit because she lets the father
I
of
just
her
want you to put some
children.
clothes on, please. That's all.
Yeah, you can. And I have a lawyer too, just like this little hoe ass.
Okay.
The situation quickly turned violent. Despite the presence of several officers, Erica's rage boiled over. In a sudden explosive move, she lunged at her sister, grabbing her by the hair and physically attacking her right in front of the police. It was a raw, unfiltered display of domestic chaos.
Can you please put some pants on? Stop.
In my house, she's an RN.
Stop it.
You
Stop
got a arrest warrant to be in my
Stop
house, you little fat. This is my mom's bitch. This is not your mom's house. Out of your mom's house, little.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, I'm so scared of you.
I did not touch you.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. I've been waiting for her to get some pants, and then she finally just hit her again.
Oh, you gotta trust that little. Her whole husband's.
Stop! Stop!
As the officers moved in to restrain her, Erica's resistance only intensified. She screamed about her lawyer money and her status in the community, as if her social standing could somehow erase the fact that she had abandoned her toddlers to get high.
Nah, because I got the best lawyer in Henry County. You're gonna
Go that way.
get this shit. Así como novia.
Cállate, no dejes, no.
Cállate tú, el puto hocico, pinche.
Stop.
Quítate en mi pica,
Okay.
puta casa.
Look, you're gonna get additional charges. Just stop. Yeah.
She already got domestic times 3.
You're gonna regret this shit. Put the little fat.
Well, yeah.
So who the f is arresting me?
Me.
Who is me?
Officer Paulson, I've told you that 5
And
times now.
I'll give
Stand up.
Cause my little fat ass, you little
Stand up.
Nah.
Look, dude.
The struggle to get Erica into the patrol car was a grueling, miserable process. She spat directly into an officer's face, a disgusting act of defiance that added felony charges to her mounting list of problems.
Who is this? You a bitch. You scared of me too. You're a
Here, come on.
Oh no, you're a bitch. And I got a good ass lawyer, you little bitch.
Have a seat.
Sit in the car, please.
Spit in my face.
Give me my ass too, you little
Sideways, I'll tug her. She spit in my
Nah.
face. Did she? Yep. Okay.
Oh, I'm so scared of you little
Get in there, Erica.
I can't get in here. I can't get in here, you little I can't get in here, you little
You gotta get in.
You little grandpa.
Can you stand up?
No, I can't.
Well, you're gonna get in the car either way.
Nah, because I need my glasses, you little You come in my fucking house while I'm watching
Can
my
you go over and help them stand her up?
Nah, you're not. And I got my lawyer, you little What the
At the police station, the vitriol didn't stop. Erica continued to berate the officers and even the paramedics who were called to check her vitals. She mocked the EMS worker, despite knowing his family, showing that her intoxication had stripped away any sense of human connection or respect. To her, everyone was an enemy, and the fact that she was in handcuffs was a personal insult rather than a result of her own neglect.
I cannot wait to punk your little ass out. Oh, yes.
Fun. No!
You better take me off these scaffolds, you little 2-centimeter ass.
No.
The fallout of that afternoon was swift and severe. Erica was hit with a litany of charges, including multiple counts of domestic battery, aggravated battery of a police officer, and threatening a public official. While she sits in a cell, her children are finally safe. Currently in the care, the sister was brave enough to intervene. It's a haunting reminder of the collateral damage caused by addiction, how a mother's unbounded soul can leave a trail of traumatized children and a family broken by the very person who was supposed to protect them. This next clip has been circulating widely across the internet lately and was filmed just outside of Lufkin, Texas. In this video, you can see the perspective of a trucker traveling down a highway with a passenger by his side. As the pair approaches a standard intersection, they witness a terrifying event unfolding right in front of them.
There you go. About time. Thank you. Really? You idiots. Mother. Here we go. God damn it. God damn. That dude is not okay. He's gone.
A different truck suddenly pulls out into the middle of the road without checking for oncoming traffic. The driver filming was paying close attention and managed to avoid the danger. However, a truck in the right lane was slightly ahead of them and did not have enough room to stop. You can see the heavy cargo shift forward with a quick motion, smashing directly through the rear of the cabin. I feel terrible for that driver because seeing a massive weight crush your workspace is a nightmare scenario. It's frightening how one person's mistake can put everyone else in a deadly spot. Initially, the damage looks completely unsurvivable. According to the person who shared this footage, the driver was incredibly lucky. He walked away from the wreckage and only suffered a black eye. It is a miracle he was not more severely wounded or struck by the moving freight. This CCTV camera footage comes to us from Quincy, Illinois, and it captures a truly terrifying scene at a railroad crossing. In this video, you can see a Dodge Challenger driving onto the tracks. Usually, people get stuck between the gates, but this driver went onto the rails where there was no crossing at all. I feel terrible for the driver because this was clearly a massive mistake that will be very costly. Initially, it's hard to understand how the car ended up in such a dangerous position. The sports car is completely bottomed out on the iron tracks. A train could appear at any moment and a collision would be unavoidable. This is why I always double check the path ahead when driving near industrial areas at night. It's frightening how one wrong turn could leave you stranded in the path of a locomotive. Never follow GPS directions blindly if they lead you onto tracks. Watch for the reflective white X signs that mark every crossing. Make a swift exit from your vehicle if you ever get stuck on the rails. This next piece of footage is absolutely wild, though I must apologize for the blurry quality. I searched everywhere but could not find a higher resolution version or any clear background information. I also do not have a specific date or location for where this took place. Despite the poor visuals, you can clearly see a man recording his own skiing trip with a body camera. He ended up capturing something much more terrifying than a standard run down the mountain. In this video, you can see the skier moving through deep powder. I honestly expected to see an avalanche start behind him. However, that was not what happened at all. I was never expecting to see him launch his body off a massive cliff and land directly on a paved road. It is shocking to watch him fly through the air toward the asphalt. I feel terrible for this man because that impact must have been incredibly painful. It's hard to understand how he did not see the drop coming. If you look closely, the cliff appears to be the top of a tunnel entrance. It was covered in a thick layer of snow which likely hid the ledge from his view. Always check your path for hidden drops when skiing in unfamiliar areas. Wear bright colors so drivers can see you if you end up near a road. Never ski alone in out of bounds areas where help cannot reach you with a quick response. Watch for signs of man-made structures like tunnels or bridges buried under the snow. Do you think he survived that landing without any broken bones? How would you react if a person suddenly fell from the sky while you were driving? What you're about to see might look impressive to some people. It might even seem like a normal part of industrial work, but it is actually terrifying. In this video, you can see a safety mechanism working as a final line of defense against a disaster. This hydrogen trailer safety valve triggered to release an immense amount of pressure. Sources suggest the pressure was incredibly high, and I'm following those reports. This vent exists to prevent a catastrophic failure. If it did not work, the entire trailer would suffer a massive explosion. Instead of a violent blast, the machine allows for a controlled release of gas. Initially, the scene looks like a simple cloud of steam, then the power of the pressure becomes clear as it shoots into the air with a quick force. The person who filmed this footage said she was just cleaning her house with a vacuum. She noticed something moving inside the dust container. She looked closer and was terrified by what she found. Keep in mind that this event happened in Australia.
So this is from one day when I was vacuuming my room when I was living in Australia, and I vacuumed behind a cushion that was on my floor and sucked up a funnel web spider, which is one of the most deadly spiders in the world. This is a pretty big one. It was just in my bedroom. I hysterically cried for about an hour and then didn't sleep in my room for 3 days, so that's one.
In this video, you can see an Australian funnel web spider trapped inside the machine. Experts consider this species one of the most lethal on the planet. The woman shared the clip on her TikTok page to show the world. Initially, she was just cleaning behind the pillows on her bed. She accidentally sucked the creature up while she was vacuuming her room. This is true nightmare fuel because these spiders can actually kill humans. I feel terrible that she found such a dangerous predator in her own bedroom. It's frightening to think about how close that thing was to her head while she slept. Always shake out your pillows before you lay your head down to sleep. Seal any small cracks in your bedroom walls where a creature could hide. Empty your vacuum outside so you do not release a pest back into your home. Move with a quick motion if you see a spider and do not try to touch it. Welcome to Adana, Turkey, where a small group of people is sitting down for lunch at a local restaurant. It is about 2 in the afternoon and the customers are enjoying the shade of the building. In this video, you can see an air conditioning unit mounted on the exterior wall. It seems like a strange detail to notice until you see what happens next. The outdoor unit of the air conditioner suddenly suffers a violent explosion. The cause of the mechanical failure remains unknown to the public. Initially, the scene is calm, but a massive cloud of debris and dust quickly fills the air. This blast caused a lot of panic for the people sitting just a few feet away. This happened in Saudi Arabia. This isn't necessarily scary per se, but I feel like I had to include it. Watch as this man makes a critical error. This man did something that infuriated the camel, and if I'm being completely honest, my fury would indicate that the camel genuinely wants the man gone based on the way he's pursuing him. I apologize for the low quality footage, but this is a decade old. However, what the footage captures is downright terrifying. This next piece of footage captures a massive disaster in South Korea's Jungang Expressway. The event took place on January 15th. A pileup occurred that left 23 people wounded. Thankfully, no fatalities were reported, which is a miracle. In this video, you can see the total destruction of several vehicles. The road was covered in thick ice. Drivers were disoriented and shocked as they stood on the highway. The frozen ground made it impossible for oncoming traffic to stop. Initially, people tried to warn others, but more cars kept sliding into the wreck. Vehicles crashed into each other at a quick pace. I feel terrible for the victims who had to stand there and watch more impacts happen. It's frightening how a patch of ice can turn a highway into a graveyard of metal. This is why I always feel nervous driving in the winter. You simply lose all control once those tires start to slide. I'm taking you down with me is something this girl took literally.
Buenas.
Poor guy did nothing to deserve that. Wouldn't you agree?
Muy buenas tardes con todos. Primeramente quiero dar gracias a Dios por permitirnos estar aquí. Me siento muy orgullosa de representar a la comunidad de Ramalpón. Es un honor estar aquí y quiero decirles de todo corazón que para mí todas somos ganadoras. Mi nombre es Yulisa Marely Dávila González, tengo 15 años de edad y muchas gracias.
In the town of Conchin, Peru, a local community is still dealing with a heavy tragedy from late December 2025. During a public event, a host named Albert Paredes Maya was working on a stage in front of a large crowd. In this video, you can see the metal structure that became the site of a fatal accident. Albert touched the stage frame and was immediately struck by a massive surge of electricity. The electric shock was so powerful that he passed away only minutes after the contact. It is a somber reminder of how a normal workday can turn into a nightmare in a quick moment. I feel terrible for his family because no one should lose their life while simply trying to do their job. This is why I always feel nervous around large temporary setups with lots of messy wiring. The local authorities have opened a serious investigation into the event. Initially, it looked like a freak accident, but investigators found major safety failures at the scene. It appears the negligence of the organizers put every spectator and performer in the area at risk. Any youngster in the audience could have easily touched that metal and been wounded as well. It is chilling to think that a place meant for celebration was actually a death trap. The community remains in deep shock as they wait for justice for Albert. We must ensure that every event space is inspected thoroughly to protect every man, woman, and youngster attending. My heart goes out to the people of Conchan during this difficult time. How often do we walk onto stages or near equipment without thinking about our safety? This story shows that we should never take basic safety for granted. It only takes one loose wire to change a life forever. I hope this investigation leads to real changes in how these festivals are managed. In this video by a witness in Panjshir, China, we see a scene that looks like a minor accident from a distance. However, the reality of what happened to this man is absolutely terrifying. Initially, you might not realize the danger he is in. A factory worker is seen falling directly into a large tank filled with sulfuric acid. The fall was caused by an unstable ladder and a series of safety irregularities at the plant. Negligence at the workplace led to this horrifying moment. I feel terrible that this man had to suffer through such a painful and lonely experience. This is why I always worry about the hidden dangers in industrial areas that we never think about. The worker actually managed to pull himself out of the acid tank on his own, but even though he escaped the liquid, there is no official word on whether he survived his injuries. Sulfuric acid is extremely dangerous and can cause a person to be wounded or struck with permanent damage in a quick moment. The silence regarding his current condition is very unsettling. It's hard to watch someone struggle in such a desperate situation. We should all be grateful for the safety rules that keep us away from such hazards. What do you think happened to the worker after the camera stopped rolling? It is a somber reminder that safety should always be a top priority in any high-risk job. A quick lapse in judgment or a broken tool can change everything in a second. In the Yeşilyurt district of Malatya, Turkey, a powerful snowstorm on December 29, 2025 turned the local streets into a literal ice rink. The frozen surface made braking completely impossible for anyone on the road. In this video, you can see how a moving vehicle turns into a projectile. It hits a parked car with enough force to actually leverage the weight of the stationary vehicle. The impact is violent and sudden. Despite how terrifying the crash looks, there was only property damage reported at the scene. Fortunately, no one was hurt in this specific collision. I feel terrible for the owners who have to deal with the wreckage after such a chaotic storm. This is why I never like driving when the roads are completely covered in a fresh layer of black ice. Initially, the streets look quiet, but the lack of control for the drivers is alarming. A moving car on ice is a heavy object that cannot be stopped by human effort alone. If a youngster had been walking between those cars, they could have been struck or wounded by the sliding metal. We must ensure every youngster understands the danger of standing near a road during a freeze. It is a somber reminder of how quickly nature can take away our control. A quick slide can lead to a lifetime of regret if the circumstances are different. We are lucky that this event ended without any loss of life. After being struck by the Zagraya ship during a port entrance maneuver, the Princess and her score, Jessica's ship, anchored in the port of Dar sank without any casualties. In the quiet seaside town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, a simple traffic stop for an expired tag was about to devolve into a bizarre display of defiance. It began when an officer pulled over a Jeep Wrangler, expecting a routine interaction, but the woman behind the wheel wasn't interested in routine. From the moment the officer approached, the air filled with a specific kind of tension, the kind that rises when someone believes they exist outside the laws of the society they live in. The woman immediately launched into a script familiar to law enforcement, the sovereign citizen defense. She questioned the legality of the stop, demanding to know if she had committed a crime or hurt anyone. When the officer pointed out her expired registration, she countered with a chillingly calm insistence that she wasn't driving but traveling. It's a linguistic game played by those who believe that by using specific magic words, they can bypass the authority of the badge.
Well, I'll need your license. You have a choice, okay? And I'm going to explain this to you really probably once or twice to you, okay? I will call my supervisor, but if you fail to produce your information...
Call your supervisor. I'm not failing to do anything. I'm asking for you.
No, yes, you are.
No, I'm asking for
It's
your
upon
supervisor.
demand.
I'm demanding your supervisor.
No, you don't get to demand my
You're a public
supervisor.
servant.
You wait, because
You serve the public.
Yes.
I didn't cause any crime. I didn't hurt
509.
anybody. I'm not...
526. Would you 56 me here? Now I need your license, please.
I'm not doing anything commercially. So...
Your tag is expired.
I have it.
Come here. I'll show you.
No.
It's right here.
Okay.
Stay here. Don't move.
Expired vehicle registration. Driver license not valid. 2018 white G utility vehicle.
As the officer's patience began to wear thin, the woman's tone shifted from inquisitive to arrogant. She demanded a supervisor convinced that a higher-ranking officer would somehow validate her distorted view of the law. She sat in her vehicle filming the encounter, seemingly emboldened by her own rhetoric. But what she didn't realize was that her refusal to provide a license and registration was transforming a simple citation into a criminal offense. When the supervisor finally arrived, the atmosphere reached a breaking point. The woman, still clinging to her traveling defense, asked once more if the stop was lawful or legal. The supervisor didn't waste time with a philosophy lesson.
The tag is expired, and she won't produce her driver's license, registration, or insurance.
Okay.
She's traveling.
Okay. Hi. Good. How you doing?
I'm doing
Good.
great.
So I'm the day shift supervisor.
Hi.
This officer has conducted a lawful traffic stop.
Is it lawful or illegal?
It's a lawful traffic stop.
It is. And
yes.
what law am I am I breaking?
Apparently, you're
what law is that?
Okay. Can we see your license and registration?
That has nothing
Okay.
to do
10:15.
with because are you?
You're under arrest.
Okay. For
No.
what? Why are you arresting me? Is your
Yeah. You know what for. Right? Welcome to America.
wow?
This is
Please
not.
don't-
This isn't.
Don't resist.
I'm not resisting.
Yes, you are.
This is not even my car. I did not.
Lock this.
This is crazy.
As she was led away, she began to plead that it wasn't even her car, a desperate attempt to distance herself from the very vehicle she claimed she had a sovereign right to travel in. The arrogance that had fueled her arguments just moments before evaporated, replaced by the cold reality of a jail cell. At the police station, the defiance returned in a hollow, desperate form. Inside the holding cell, she continued to argue semantics, claiming the officers never asked for an ID, only a driver's license. It was a final, pathetic attempt to win a legal battle that she had already lost the moment she decided the rules didn't apply to her.
Why step into there? Why are you putting me in here?
Why am I putting it in here?
Yes.
Why do you think I'm putting it in here?
Why are you putting me in here? This is absurd.
Turn around.
Wow. This is absurd.
All you gotta do is provide your driver's license.
This encounter serves as a disturbing look at the sovereign citizen movement, a reminder how a few distorted ideas can lead an ordinary person to challenge the very foundation of public safety, turning a simple afternoon drive into a fast track to a criminal record. In this footage, we see a forklift carrying a tall pile of panels. The load is not secured or tied down in any way. This creates a major tipping hazard as soon as the lift begins to lower. You can see the panels start to shift toward a worker standing nearby. Operators should never move a machine near people with an unstable load. The panels fall with a quick force that traps the man underneath. I feel awful that he was put in this position by a coworker. It's a terrifying reminder of how dangerous a warehouse can be. Someone should tell this biker to look before switching lanes. Good thing he didn't get hurt. In this video, we see a worker performing a task on a very steep roof. He decided to leave his slippers behind to climb even higher. Initially, he thinks his bare feet will give him better grip. This was a massive mistake that left him with no traction at all. As he reaches the top, he loses his footing and begins to slide. He moves down the pitched surface at a quick speed. I feel sick watching him struggle to find something to grab. This is why I never like being on high structures without a safety line. Always wear proper safety boots with high traction soles. Use a harness that is securely anchored to the building. Avoid working on roofs during high winds or wet conditions. New Year's Eve in Angra dos Reis. located on the beautiful coast of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, was meant to be a time of celebration. However, the night quickly turned into a scene of absolute terror for those in attendance. In this video, you can see a large crowd gathered to watch the festive pyrotechnic show. A major malfunction occurred within the fireworks display during the height of the party. Instead of launching safely into the night sky, the explosives were directed toward the unsuspecting people below. Initially, the spectators were cheering and filming the lights. Then the rockets began to rain down on the beach with a quick and violent force. The sudden shift caused massive panic and chaos as everyone scrambled to find cover from the falling fire. I feel terrible for the families who just wanted to enjoy a holiday and ended up running for their lives. This is why I never like being in the middle of large crowds. During firework events, you're completely at the mercy of the equipment. Authorities are still investigating the specific defect that caused this dangerous failure. At least 3 people were wounded during the incident. For the guests who were present, the celebration ended in the most horrific way imaginable. It is a miracle that more people were not struck by the flying projectiles.
Jesse, why did you rape those girls, Jesse? Do you have anything to say to the victims, Jesse? Why did you rape those girls? Are you as dumb as they say you are, Jesse? Is that why you were adjudicated a juvenile, because you're that stupid? Are you that dumb, Jesse? Why did you rape the girls?
Here's a story that could drive you insane if the internet doesn't already enrage you enough on a regular basis. Jesse Butler is our young person in this video, and the reason this man is criticizing him in this manner is because Jesse was recently found not guilty of sexually abusing 2 females. Furthermore, many believe that his father's ties may have contributed to the lenient punishment.
Jackie, why are you defending your rapist son? Jesse, come on, talk to us. Why'd you rape the girls? Come on, Jackie. Let him talk to us. Let him explain why he raped them.
Do you feel bad for being a rapist?
Why'd you rape him?
Do you feel bad for being a rapist, Jesse?
Why'd you rape him?
You see, Mr. Butler, the senior, was once OSU's football director. Additionally, others believe that the judge accepted a plea offer since sports are very important in this region of the United States. Either way, it's really embarrassing, isn't it? In this clip, you can see 2 workers climb onto a mobile scaffold. Both of them make the mistake of standing on the same side of the platform. Initially, the metal frame seems to hold their weight. However, the distribution is uneven and the center of gravity shifts. The entire structure begins to tip over with a swift motion. They both fall to the ground as the scaffold collapses on top of them. I feel terrible that they did not take a second to balance the load. It is frightening how a stable platform can become a trap so fast. Spread the weight evenly across any work surface. Never exceed the maximum load limit listed on the equipment. Check that the ground is level before you start your climb. The new year has only just begun and Venezuela is already the focus of a major global crisis. In the early hours of January 3rd, 2026, the city of Caracas was rocked by loud explosions. In this video, you can hear the roar of low-flying jets passing over the buildings. The footage shows the night sky lighting up as the conflict begins. Initially, many people were confused about what was happening in the darkness. President Donald Trump soon confirmed that he personally ordered these military strikes. He also stated that United States forces successfully captured Nicolas Maduro during the operation. The local government is calling this a cowardly attack on their nation. I feel terrible for the families who had to wake up to the sounds of war in their backyard. It is frightening to think how a quick change in politics can lead to a full-scale invasion. However, several new videos show a very different side of the story. You can see large groups of people celebrating in the streets despite the danger.
Mira, pero ven acá, no se metan para acá, no saben lo que hay ahí que se cambie. Sí. Mierda esa, weón.
mamá huevo. ¡Qué locura! Moscaí. Mira esa mierda, explotaron allá toda esa mierda, porque aquí no está explotando.
Mierda, marico, se prendió el peo en esta mierda, ¿oyó?
Huevo.
Marico, llegamos a tiempo a la casa, ¿oyó?
Marico, mira esa mierda.
The citizens seem to believe this marks the final end of the long-standing regime. I never like seeing violence, but the joy in these clips suggests how much the population has suffered. Watching them cheer while jets are still in the air is truly surreal. One swift strike has changed the entire future of this country in a single night. Outdoor Family is a YouTube channel from Turkey known for peaceful camping trips in beautiful remote areas. Their videos usually focus on family bonding, slow living, and cooking over a warm campfire. However, during one trip, their experience became anything but peaceful. Their quiet night was disturbed by something silently circling their tent in the dark. This threat was not a storm or a group of strangers.
Çok güzel bir manzara.
Ne güzelmiş ya.
Ya bulutlar harika.
Harikadır. Aynı şeyde.
The family chose a quiet spot in a forest near an open clearing to set up their camp. It was autumn, so the air was cool and the ground was covered in golden leaves. Initially, the setting seemed nearly perfect for their adventure. They spent the day gathering firewood and drinking tea under the clear sky, but as the sun began to set, they heard strange sounds echoing through the deep trees.
Ses geldi baba.
Ne?
Evet. Hayvan sesi ya. Ne oldu ya? Çakal mı, kurt mu?
Bir şey gözüküyor mu?
Yok bir şey.
Ha?
Yok bir şey. Bu etraflar orada. Hayvan çok. Kurt var, çakal var, ayı var.
Initially, it sounded like normal wildlife noises, like snapping twigs or distant howls, but as the family headed into the tent for the night, the sounds moved much closer.
Başka? Duydun mu?
Ne?
Bir şey çadırı vurdu. Başka?
Bir bakayım.
Aşkım dikkat et.
Hı? Bir bakayım.
Hava dikkatli ol. Avat.
Efendim?
Neredesin?
Buradayım, geliyorum. Buyur.
Neydi?
Bilmiyorum. Bir şey görmedim. Hayvan ne? Bu etrafta.
Hadi canım hadi. Gidelim.
They heard heavy steps and the rustling of something moving around their perimeter. Inside the tent, the dog became very restless. Then something suddenly struck the fabric of the tent from the outside. I feel terrible for the family because that level of fear would make it impossible to sleep. This is why I always feel a bit nervous when I'm in the deep woods at night. The father stepped outside with a flashlight and swept the beam across the clearing. He saw nothing, but the sense of unease remained. They spent the rest of the night in a state of high tension and fragmented sleep.
Ne oldu? Şey mi buldun? Her yer çamur ya.
Baba bu neyse?
Bu mu? Bu kurt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bak.
Çok güzel.
Çok büyük ya. Görüyor musun? Bayağı da büyük. Dün gecedeki kurt olabilir. Burada her ne izi istersen var ya bak. Domuz, inek, kurt, ayı da olabilir.
Bak.
O da var.
Başka? Bir şey yakaladı mı?
Bilmiyorum bir bakayım. Bir saniye. Kurt gibi bir şey. Kurt.
Gerçekten?
Evet. 20 çekim yapmış. Çadır etrafında dolaşıyor.
Belliydi zaten.
Evet. Kurt.
Sesi geliyordu.
Evet, dün gece bayağı dolaştı bizim etrafımızda. Gözükmüyor burada. Neyse iyiymiş.
In the morning, the family found large paw prints in the mud surrounding their tent. These tracks were too distinct to belong to a stray dog. They reviewed the trail camera footage they had set up the night before. The video showed a gray wolf circling their tent for a large part of the night. It moved quietly just yards away from where the family and any youngster were sleeping. The animal did not charge or attack, but it watched and lingered for a long time. At one point, the wolf walked directly past the camera lens. Its eyes caught the infrared glow before it vanished back into the dark woods. This discovery shifted the entire tone of their trip. While the forest looked safe in the sun, it was clear the wilderness was far wilder than they expected. They soon found even more tracks further out from the camp. They saw signs of wild boar, cows, and even what could have been a bear. It was obvious that they had set up their camp in an active territory for predators. I would be so shaken up if I found out a wolf was watching me through a thin layer of fabric. Do you think you could stay the night in a place where wolves are known to hunt? The wolf never tried to enter the tent, and no one was wounded or hurt, but the family left with a realization that humans are only guests in the wild. Sometimes the residents of the land choose to watch us from just beyond the reach of our campfire light. It is a haunting thought that something could be inches away while you sleep. What would you do if you woke up to a wolf standing outside your tent door? Safety tips for forest camping. Keep all food inside airtight containers to avoid attracting hungry animals. Build a large fire and keep it burning to act as a barrier against predators. Never let a youngster wander away from the campsite after the sun sets. Always keep a light source and a noisemaker inside the tent with you. Check the area for fresh tracks or animal droppings before you pitch your tent. If you see a wolf, do not run, but make yourself look as large as possible. In this video, you can see a man performing a task that is incredibly dangerous. He is standing on a ladder that he placed on top of a mobile scaffold. The worker is high in the air without a spotter to watch his back. He also made the mistake of not locking the wheels on the base. Initially, he seems to be doing fine while he reaches for his work. Then the scaffold begins to roll away from the wall with a quick motion. I feel terrible for him because he has absolutely no way to stop the movement. It is frightening how one small oversight can lead to a long fall. Always lock your wheels before you climb a platform. In this video, a concrete mixer truck has become stuck in the mud. A crawler excavator moves in to try and push the heavy vehicle out. Initially, the plan seems to be working as the truck moves forward. Then something goes wrong with the angle of the push. The excavator center of gravity shifts and the machine tips over. The massive piece of equipment falls onto its side with a quick thud. I feel terrible for the driver who was trapped inside the cabin. This is why I never like being near heavy machinery on soft ground. In this video, we see a terrifying accident that took place in Laughlin, Nevada. The event happened on December 15th, 2025 and was caused by excessive speed. You can see the vehicle moving much too fast before it loses control. Initially, the car strikes a wall with a quick impact. The force of the crash ejected the driver from her seat and into the air. I feel terrible for anyone who has to experience such a violent loss of control. By a stroke of incredible luck, she landed in a backyard swimming pool. This pool was the only spot in the entire yard that could have cushioned her fall. In this footage by the local authorities, we see her being pulled from the water. She was conscious when help arrived at the scene. Only 15 minutes later, she was already standing and speaking to the police. It is a miracle that she was not severely wounded or struck by the debris. The story of Mary Wojtyla, often cited as Mary Woodchoke Tilla in phonetic transcriptions, remains one of the most haunting and widely utilized cautionary tales in modern safety education. Her story serves as a visceral, permanent reminder of why warning signals at railway crossings must never be disregarded. This catastrophic event occurred on the late afternoon on August 26, 1991 in Downers Grove, Illinois. On that particular Monday around 5 p.m., the Fairview Avenue station, one of the primary hubs on the BNSF commuter line, was bustling with activity. Among the crowd were a dedicated train spotter and his young grandson. They had arrived equipped with a video camera to document a specific piece of transit history, the Burlington Northern E9 commuter train, which was nearing the end of its operational life on the Metro line. The pair positioned their tripod and recording gear near the pedestrian crosswalk facing the three parallel sets of tracks. The footage they captured that day began as a routine documentation of transit, but quickly transformed into a chilling historical record. The video reveals a startling reality of the early 1990s, a widespread casual indifference toward railway safety protocols. In the footage, a stationary train is seen idling at the platform while passengers disembark. The crossing gates are down and the red lights are flashing continuously. Despite these warnings, dozens of commuters are seen ducking under the barriers and stepping over the rails. During this era, many pedestrians treated railway crossings with the same informal judgment they applied to jaywalking because the gates and electronic signals were relatively new additions to some stations. Locals often relied on their own senses, sight and sound, rather than the automated warnings. There was a false sense of security born from a lifetime of living near the tracks. People believed they could outsmart the machinery or accurately predict a train's arrival. The fatal illusion: trains are deceptively quiet when approaching at high speeds, and their massive size creates an optical illusion that makes them appear to be moving slower than they actually are. Mary Wojtyla was a 41-year-old mother of three from Chicago. At the time of the incident, she was in the midst of a divorce and was heading to a nearby office to sign the final papers that would signal the start of a new chapter in her life. She was accompanied by her attorney as they hurried toward the Fairview Avenue station. As they approached the tracks, the barriers remained lowered. Most people in the crowd assumed the signals were active only because of the unloading train currently stopped at the station. However, this stationary train created a massive blind spot, obscuring the middle track. A woman standing near the gate can be seen on film, hesitating and stopping. She had sensed something was wrong. Mary and her lawyer, seemingly in a great rush, bypassed her and stepped onto the tracks. The idling train muffled the sound of an oncoming express train and blocked it from view. The lawyer, who was slightly ahead, caught a glimpse of the approaching Burlington Northern E9 at the very last microsecond and managed to recoil. The impact. Mary did not see it. She stepped directly into the path of the train, which was traveling at approximately 60 miles per hour. The impact was instantaneous and violent. Mary was thrown with such force that her body struck the cameraman and his equipment. The horrific nature of the collision meant she perished instantly. The consequences extended beyond the loss of life. The man filming suffered a broken leg from the impact of Mary's body. His grandson was struck by flying debris, and the train operators, who didn't even realize they had hit someone until 10 minutes later, along with dozens of witnesses, were left with deep emotional scars. Today, this footage is a cornerstone of the Operation Lifesaver program. It is used in safety presentations across the globe to demonstrate that cleverness and familiarity are no match for the physics of a moving train. In this footage, a worker is repairing a traffic light from a boom lift. He is high above the road while cars pass by underneath him. A large truck approaches the intersection at a quick speed. The trailer does not have enough clearance to pass under the bucket. The truck strikes the platform and causes the bucket to tip over. The worker is thrown out of his workspace with a swift jerk. I feel awful for him because he had no warning before the impact. It's terrifying to be suspended over a busy road like that. Use cones to close a lane directly under your work area. Check the height of your bucket before you start the job. Always wear a safety harness that is clipped into the lift. On December 19, 2025, just after 10:15 p.m., a man called 911 to report that his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was attempting to break into her home on Chile Avenue and might be armed. Officers responding to the call approached 38-year-old Eric Davis near the side of the house.
Drop the weapon now! I'm gonna tase you! Drop the weapon!
Drop the weapon!
Back up! Back up now! Drop it! Move back! I'm gonna take him. Back up.
Don't shoot him! Don't shoot him, my son!
Move back! Move back! Drop now! I got one more second on location. No! Drop the weapon! Move back! Did you call? Can I get one more sector here? One on there. Drop the weapon! No! Drop it! Drop the weapon now! Drop it! Sir! Drop the weapon now! What? Reyes, come! Reyes, come this way! I'm gonna shoot him. I told you to back up. Back up now. Back up now! Now you are making the problem no. Ma'am, you'll have to move back. Hey, stop! Stop! Go over there. Go. Drop it now. Drop it. Sir, back up. Drop it now.
Drop the weapon!
Back up now. Drop it. Back up. I'm gonna tase him. Back up.
Don't shoot him!
One boy. Drop no. Did you call? Can I get one more second? Drop it now. Drop it. Sir, let go of it. Drop it. I'm gonna shoot him. No. Look at that. I told you to back up. Tell you to back up now. Now you want to make the problem no. Back up. Hey, stop! Back up! Stop fire!
Hardly any pieces of found footage carry the same level of cryptic dread and visceral discomfort as the cult underground tape titled Grave Robbing for Morons. Spanning a duration of over 25 minutes, the grainy footage depicts a youthful male estimated to be in his late teens or perhaps his early 20s, offering a nonchalant step-by-step tutorial on the macabre art of desecrating burial sites. Identifying himself simply as Anthony, the protagonist casually handles what looks to be a genuine human cranium throughout the presentation. This disturbing artifact has drifted through the digital ether for several decades. It first haunted the corners of primitive internet message boards before eventually finding a wider, morbidly curious audience on YouTube. Despite its notoriety, investigators have failed to confirm the actual identity of the filmmaker, whether the grisly contents are legitimate or staged, the fundamental motivation behind producing such a recording. For a 5-year period following its initial digital servicing, the tape remained largely obscure. Its journey into the mainstream of internet subculture began when a creator named Simon Pred uploaded segments of the footage. However, widespread public fascination didn't truly ignite until approximately 2 years later, when horror-centric websites began analyzing the clip. For archival enthusiasts, a version of the footage was preserved on the Internet Archive as recently as May 2017. While a definitive wrap date for the production remains elusive, circumstantial evidence points toward the late 1980s or the dawn of the 1990s. This estimation is supported by a few key visual clues. Early in the recording, a VHS copy of the horror classic Evil Dead 2 is visible on the table. Given that this film wasn't distributed on home video until 1987, the tape could not have been filmed prior to that year. The interior decor and general visual fidelity are perfectly consistent with the aesthetic of that era. One of the most persistent theories links the video to the dark legacy of Ricky Casso, a notorious Long Island teenager. In 1984, Casso gained infamy for murdering his peer Gary Lowers during what was described as a satanic ritual. Casso had a documented history of grave desecration in Northport between 1983 and 1984. Intriguingly, Anthony claims in the video that a specific shop in Greenwich Village pays a bounty of $500 for human skulls, a specific detail that also appears in a fictionalized account of Casso's life. Researcher Jesse Pollock posits that the video might have been created by a fan or observer who was influenced by that specific book. Another name frequently surfaced is Anthony Casamasima, a man apprehended for grave-related crimes in the late 1990s. The theory gained traction because the host of the video begins to say a surname before abruptly cutting himself off. However, the math doesn't quite add up. Age gap. Casamasima was in his 40s at the time of his arrest. If the video was shot in 1990, he would have been in his 30s, significantly older than the boyish figure on the screen. Casamasima was primarily focused on rescuing sculptures and artwork from mausoleums to prevent vandalism rather than the harvesting of biological remains discussed in the video. Even after 3 decades, the veil of secrecy remains intact. Some speculate that the entire production was a masterclass in misdirection, with the name, the mentioned locations, and even the host's distinct speech impediment serving as deliberate red herrings to shield the creators from legal repercussions. If the video was indeed a calculated hoax or a meticulously hidden crime, it succeeded brilliantly. Until a concrete breakthrough occurs, it remains one of the internet's most haunting and unexplained relics. In this video, you can see a restricted zone marked with safety tape. The area is also lined with cones to keep people away from the danger. Initially, the scene is quiet and nobody is near the line. Then a person decides to ignore every single warning sign. They step over the tape and walk onto thin metal sheets. The metal is only there to cover a deep hole in the floor. The surface gives way with a quick snap and the person disappears. I feel terrible for them. But they chose to walk into a clear trap. Never ignore safety tape or warning cones at a site. Assume that any covered area is a hole until proven otherwise. The person was lucky if they were not severely wounded by the fall. They could have been struck by the jagged edges of the metal. On December 19, 2025, just after 10:15 p.m., a man called 911 to report that his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was attempting to break into her home on Chile Avenue and might be armed. Officers responding to the call approached 38-year-old Eric Davis near the side of the house. Without warning, Davis pulled out a handgun and fired at least 6 rounds, striking both officers. Davis then fled toward the rear yards as chaos erupted.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the back entrance. Hey, you got some... Open in the front.
Yeah, I'm talking to her up front with the car that came in. This is on the left side of the house. I see him. I don't see anything now.
Hello? You good?
Yeah, he's right here.
Watch out.
In the confusion, the 911 caller drew his legally registered handgun and fired 6 rounds in the direction of what he believed was a threat. One officer returned fire with 3 rounds, while the other fired 6. The 911 caller was struck at least twice, including 1 confirmed round fired from an officer's handgun.
Charlie, you there?
Channel BJLA.
I'm shot! I'm shot! I'm shot! I'm shot!
Hey, man. Yep, we got someone back there. Here, hold up. Is he still here?
He was at the side of the window.
The side of the window over here?
She opened in the front.
Yeah, I'm talking to her up front with the car that came in. Guess he was on the west side of the house last seen. I don't see anything now. Yeah, he's right here. What you doing? What? What you doing?
I'm talking. Person Charlie, you there?
Negative. Here, turn around. For what?
Despite suffering severe injuries, one of the wounded officers was able to relay critical suspect information while being rushed to the hospital in the back of a patrol car. Responding officers soon located Davis near the intersection of Barnett Boulevard and Thurston Road. When Officer 3 attempted to stop him, Davis immediately opened fire again, striking the officer in the upper body. Even while wounded, the officer returned fire. A 4th officer arrived moments later and also engaged Davis. One officer fired from behind a tree as bullets tore into the trunk from Davis's gunfire.
Blocking off traffic.
Hey man, stop for a second. Stop for a second. Show me your hands.
What you want? I try like. Come here. We're not Thurston right now.
I'm shot. He's got a gun. He's going. West. I need an ambulance. Give me the car! Give me the car!
Suspect down. I'm holding at lethal.
Help me!
Someone get the suspect down right now. Please slow it down. Slow it down. I'm shot. He's got a gun. He's going. I didn't even do it. Get on the fucking ground! Get on the fucking ground!
Suspect's down. I'm holding at lethal. Someone get suspects down right now.
Please slow it down. Slow it down. Give us a direction to come in. So there isn't a crossfire.
You okay?
Officers are injured.
Suspect! You're all the way to the fucking gun now!
Hold up.
Are you good? You good?
I'm good. Not good.
Patrol 33, myself and Jimmy Carl,
Davis was shot and killed at the scene. Investigators later determined that on Thurston Road, Davis fired at least 8 rounds at officers. Officer 3 returned fire with 7 rounds and Officer 4 fired 4. All 3 injured officers were transported to Strong Memorial Hospital. The first officer was released the following day but continues to receive medical treatment. The second officer remains hospitalized with serious injuries. The third officer was discharged on December 24 and is recovering at home. The 911 caller, who was also wounded, has since been released. This next clip takes us to the city of Santana do Livramento in Brazil. A massive fire broke out at a local supermarket on December 31st, 2025. In this video, you can see a team of firefighters approaching the burning building. They were trying to find a way inside to put out the flames. Initially, the situation looked like a standard structural fire.
Explodiu, pessoal! Explodiu, pessoal! Socorro! Puta merda! Explodiu, pessoal! Meu coração! Ai, meu Deus! Por que eu tava aqui? Eu vou embora! Socorro!
Suddenly, a terrifying backdraft occurs as the crew opens the door. This is a violent explosion caused by a sudden rush of oxygen into pressurized space. The blast was incredibly quick and threw the first responders backward. I feel terrible for these brave people who are just trying to protect their community. It is frightening how a fire can hide such a deadly trap behind a closed door. The force of the explosion left 17 people wounded. The victims included 13 firefighters and 4 civilians. 5 people are still in the hospital recovering from their injuries. 2 of the firefighters are in critical condition and had to be moved to intensive care. I hope they're able to make a swift recovery after such a traumatic event. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.